Hello. Oh, wave time. Okay, so I've been thinking about it a little bit. Hello, everyone. There's War Master Titus. We'll talk to him. Don't talk to me about the Crichton ambassador. I've been getting an earful from both sides. Do you know why King Adalburn trusts me, Sophia Ash? Because I know where my loyalties lie. King and country, Balthazar preserve them both. Perhaps joining the prince's vanguard has confused you, but Rurik is not the ruler of this kingdom. Now, listen to me. The king's already given this matter much consideration, and the likes of you and I best abide by his wisdom. And in fact, the king is probably quite right here, given that the White Mantle are not great. This is one of those things I think is narratively easy to overlook. Of just like, we're in the prince's vanguard, in the conflict between the prince's vanguard and King Adalburn and all that. But I talked about that previously. But I wanted to talk briefly about some of my plans here for doing this unlock all skills quest, as I'm been framing it. And one of the important things is I'm not like doing additional challenges or anything in addition to that. Like when I get to LA, I'll probably go get heroes. But keep in mind, these are heroes on an account that does not have all skills unlocked, so they're going to be much more limited, and that's actually something I want to experience and see. Because by the time Nightfall came out, I had all skills unlocked for prophecies and factions, probably. And it was not hard for me to get all Nightfall skills unlocked. So having heroes with extremely limited skill pools, and like, I won't have any elites at that point, for example. That's really interesting to me, and that's something that I want to experience. So I'll probably do that. The main thing is I'm not going to get help from my main account on this one until I've gotten all skills unlocked, with the possible exception of Z coins for equipment packs. And like maybe I'll transfer over some minis and everlasting tonics, but that's like, that doesn't do anything. So just gets them out of my main account's inventory is the main thing that does. So yeah, I'm not like doing any sort of additional challenges or restrictions or anything like that. Also, I did join my guild, so I'm in my guild, so I can go to my guild hall if I want to. One thing that I'm a little sad I didn't capture on stream because I just had forgotten about it. But when I joined my guild, there's a little fanfare that played. And I'm like, whoa, when's the last time I heard this? It's been a very long time. So I'm a little sad that I didn't get that captured. But, oh well, it's not a big enough deal that I'm going to drop out of the guild and then rejoin it just to capture it. So, but that was a little interesting thing. If it happens in Ascalon City, it's because I say so. Don't waste my time. What do you want? The king's message. I have an important task for you. Please deliver this royal message to Ambassador Zane of Krita. His camp can be found just outside the city. Go out the western gate to Old Ascalon and head west to find the encampment. I don't trust these Crichtons. I want you to take someone with you in case there's trouble. I'm sure Alicia will be willing to go with you, and she can heal you if need be. You can rely on me, sir. That hammer looks like it's substantially better than any of my other weapons. I might have to spend some time in hammer mastery. That's something to think about. Okay, the first thing I want to do, actually, I'm sure I'll get directed here via quest later, right? I don't remember. I feel like I ought to remember. It's not that long ago that I played through this off stream. I think I'm going to turn the cape off. I have mixed feelings about capes. Sometimes I think they look good, and sometimes I don't think they look good. That's the feelings, basically. But I want to go talk to the Zaishan Scout. I would like to... You'll need better armor to survive against higher level foes. Travel to Ascalon City and have a crafter make new armor for you. Thank you, Tip. These tips are very interesting to see. I want to go to Embark Beach, and I want to go here specifically because I want to um, pick up Zaishin quests. They're going to be a good source of money and other things as I go, and it would be nice to get started on accumulating some. Well, that's going to be a while. Verdant Cascades, I don't know, I'm just grabbing them. Who knows when I'll actually want to do them, but where is Tyrian travel? Okay, take me back to the Great Northern Wall, because I can go to my guild hall, but nowhere else. Okay, this should be. I need to figure out what I'm doing with Mubot. Yeah, I would like to authorize that. Okay. Oh, now I need to figure out docking things again. Okay. I'm going to just ignore things there and go back to Ascalon City because I want to do some quests and such. So one of the things I was looking at is it looks like Healing Breeze might not be a skill that I'm just given as a secondary. Because I'm seeing there's a quest that gives it to you. So weird. Looking at the skill quest, it looks like there's post-searing quests to give you a lot of the skills, but for some reason they didn't do that fully with Monk. And I'm not entirely sure why. And I find that very strange. I will potentially look into that later. Healing Breeze is one of those skills that would be nice to have. But I'm not sure. Like, I've not had to look at what are the skills that you have to buy that you can't get from quests and, like, where are they located. It's not something I've looked at in a very long time. I also have to figure out, like, what monk skills do I actually want to get on this character, because I will be making a monk. That will be going for all monk skills, right? So it's a little bit... Oh, Heroes Ascent bonus week. That's nice. There we go. Add some henchies. There's some sort of gargoyle problem. There was where Baron Egan was. It's interesting just standing here and being like, oh, this was the gate that led out. It was War Master grassed. Is there no end to these blasted gargoyles? Here they are. What do you want? Gargoyle trouble. True warriors got to be tough to survive in Ascalon after the searing. You've got to show me prowess in battle before I acknowledge you as a true warrior. Defeating 5 of these Shatter or Flash Gargoyles should be a true test of your mettle. Think you can handle it? So you'll notice a bunch of these are skills that I already have. Sever, Artery Gash, and Healing Signet. So they have a bunch of these that are like repeats, just in case you missed some of these like core skills. I don't know how you'd miss Healing Signet as a primary warrior, but as a secondary warrior, I don't think you get it. So this would be where you'd get it as a secondary warrior, and it looks like Healing Breeze and Banish are kind of in the same boat of like they're given with that initial congratulations, you're a primary warrior or your primary profession quest. Orion's board apparently. So it's a question of how do they like distribute things. So anyway, I'm going to take that one and go kill some gargoyles, and then I'll talk to him. Even now, that does like no damage. How does it do so little? They have to have extremely little investment in air magic as well. But Healing Breeze is such a solid skill. I think this character will probably want more Protection Prayer stuff. Hey, Fear. It has been a very long time. I'm not sure the last time I streamed was like... Well, technically, the last time I streamed was like 2 days ago. For me. But the last time before that I streamed had been over a year ago, and I was streaming other games. So it's been quite some time. It was good to see ya. It is very good to see ya. That was G and not C. Get out of here, Shadow Gargoyle. But yeah, Guild Wars 1 went on pretty good sale on Steam, so I picked up a second account. And now I'm getting unlocked all stuff. Hey, Fjord. How's it going? It is going well. I think I killed enough gargoyles for War Master Grast. Just looking at this building. Yeah, so I got the trilogy plus Eye of the North. So I have all of the campaigns and the X-Pack. I'll admit you did better than I expected. Well done. Thank you for Wild Blow. This would actually be useful. Definitely better than Reversal of Fortune. Because the friggin' Lightning Reflex devours. Skill unlocks. So neat seeing those again. We have something of a military emergency taking place. When Baradin and his vanguard broke through the Char lines to Picken Square, they created a weak point in our own line. So this is a really important one for, like, the broader lore narrative. Setting. Broader setting. I've talked about this before because I saw this with the... Man, I learned so many things in that slow playthrough. But one of the key ones is we have the breach. That was not the Char breaching us. That was Baradin breaching the Char lines and creating a weak point in the Ascalonian lines. Our scouts report that Char forces are massing to try to break through the breach, and we have not enough men in place to stop them. We need to reassign our forces quickly. If you're willing, I'd like you to gather up a patrol that has been watching the road in Regent Valley. The patrol leader is Sergeant Clark. I'll need you to bring him and his men back to me for reassignment. What say you? You can count me in, sir. I want sprint. But I was saying earlier that my plan here is, like, I'm happy to take this character... Oh, Dialogue from Prince Rook. Greetings, Ambassador Zane. Let me be the first to welcome you to Ascalon. Ah, Prince Rook, I thank you for your kind words. I will admit I was nervous about this meeting. Our initial reception here in Ascalon has been less than warm. So I have heard. I apologize for my father. He means well and does what he thinks is best for his country, but sometimes his stubborn memory of the last Guild War gets in his way. The days of war between our two nations are over. We are here in the name of Kryta to give aid to Ascalon. We ask for nothing in return and wish only to be of service. We'd be foolish to allow our pride to stand in the way of such a generous offer. Now I see why the people of Ascalon so admire you, Rook. When it is your turn, you will be a good king. A good king indeed. Thank you, Ambassador. Now I must take my leave. I will talk to the king with the king. Perhaps I can change his mind and gain you access to the city. There's a bunch of these little vignettes that happen, which is really neat, and they just don't happen afterwards. But completely derailed my train of thought. Oh, yes. So my plan is basically like I'm not going to get any help from my main account except for maybe Zaishan coins to get equipment packs with. But otherwise, I'm not like, only playing through Prophecy, like doing siloed like I did with a slow playthrough. Like I'm happy to go grab heroes. I want them in the Crystal Desert anyway, because that area is rough. Otherwise, and yep. That is basically it. Hello, Ambassador. A message with the royal seal. Let's see. Honored Ambassador, etc., etc. Your request for permission to enter the city and address the people of Ascalon is emphatically denied. This being the fourth such denial, His Majesty bids you reconsider this ill-conceived journey and contemplate a return to Kryta. King Adalburn and I have learned very different lessons from the wars of past. Isolation is not the answer. Only in peace and mutual friendship shall we find our salvation. I still have hope that in time he will realize the truth of this. Unseen ones preserve you, is Ambassador Zane. I have the honor of representing the White Mantle. It is my hope that we can be friends. Helping the people of Ascalon. I do not understand the hostility that my presence generates from your king. I seek only to help the people of Ascalon. You could help me in this cause. I have a shipment of supplies that I was going to deliver to an Ascalon woman called Ellie Rigby. She runs an orphanage for those who have lost their parents in these evil times. King Adalburn, however, will not allow me in the city to deliver these supplies. Would you help the children of Ascalon for me and deliver the supplies? I will gladly help you. And the quandary. A better axe, that would be nice. Alas, despite the current peace between Kryta and Ascalon, your King Adalburn still chooses to view all Krytans with distrust. He respects the old laws too much to do anything untoward, but I must take care not to give him an excuse to expel me from the kingdom. Therein lies my trouble. Unable to enter the city, my men have been forced to travel south to Regent Valley to resupply, and have been victimized repeatedly by a bandit named Torin. We would hunt down Torin ourselves, but shedding the blood of an Ascalon, even a criminal like Torin, might be a mistake. Will you attend to this bandit threat for me? Sure. Unseen ones protect you. This land has seen much tragedy. Even in this place, I feel the spirits of the dead, filled with confusion and anger. I can consecrate this ground so that the dead may have some peace, but I will need very special items for this ceremony. I believe there's a craftsman here in Old Ascalon called Artisan David. David? I don't know. It always throws me off because David is spelled with an I, usually, not an E. So I always want to pronounce it Daved, as if Dave is a verb that can go past tense. Who is capable of fashioning exactly what I need. Would you take this list to him and bring back the supplies he gives you? I'd be happy to. David. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, no more beautiful trees. Hey, mana guy. Good to see you. How have you been? Still got that pumpkin pie dropping. So many random quest items. This Warhammer is a huge step up from that Warhammer. But I'm using an axe right now on account of Cyclone Axe. Gonna make my way to Sartilac Sanitarium. Ten frames dropped. I wonder what leads to that. I wish I knew more about some of the settings and stuff of like what makes for good settings for streaming. That's not true. I just wish I had an evaluation for it. If you have this scenario, this is the setup you want. It's not a bad idea for them to give lightning reflexes to these guys, just because it gives you a reason to want skills like Wild Blow. Wow, I chose a really good moment to hit Bane Signet. Stopped his counterblow from knocking me over. Grunth protects me. You see, I'm so unpleasant, he doesn't want me in the underworld. Ha 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 ha! What's on your mind? This ritual. Let me see. A list of things for Witness Rastin. Looks like, I must say, you're lucky I've got all of this here. Some unusual requests, indeed. Well, there you go. That's everything on his list. While here, you might want to see if I can make anything you need. Any town or city will have crafters and weaponsmiths, but artisans like myself are not so easy to come by. That is true. Never do this. This is a trap. Charcoal is so expensive. Aw, thanks, Mana Guy. I appreciate it. Yeah. Steel ingots are expert salvage kits. That's the way to get those. If you don't buy them from the thing. The trader. Are there any random quests for me here? I feel like there probably would be for mesmers and necromancers. But I am neither of those things. Alright, I need to go to Regent Valley, so let's do that. Just poke my nose into it. What even is my primary quest right now? All the Zaishin quests are for very far off places. Oh, I do need to talk to Graston. He has a quest for me. Okay, Graston. Give me the goods. We must all do our part to preserve what remains of Fair Ascalon. If you wish to help, I have a task for you. One of our order, named Paulus, was sent to Regent Valley to investigate a strange poisonous area. Paulus and poison. He is overdue to return, and I grow worried about him, as he is somewhat prone to rash action. We go to Regent Valley and find Paulus? Sure. Sowing seeds. You've come at just the right time. This fellow here needs help getting to Ascalon City to purchase grain for his farm. If you would be so good as to see him safely to the city and then return to me, I will continue to stand watch over the crops to ensure that nothing happens to them. How does that sound? Sounds easy enough. You know, ain't a bless and guide you. You'll need it. I mean, Farmer Hamnet is level 10. He'd probably do a fine job doing this himself. No call for that sort of talk, Graston. Those others were just unlucky. Right. Skeptical about the crops, I take it. Yeah, exactly. For my farm and crops. Right. Visible confusion intensifies. I mean, it's noble to want to be growing crops and everything, but... It's interesting seeing Farmer Hamnet phase in the ground there when he's knocked down. It was making me think of... they were talking about on the Extra Life stream, Colin Johansson was talking about the reason why there's no jumping, well, aside from this, but why there's no jump button in this game, is being like, it is part of... So to make the game work as a free-to-play, or subscription-less, not free, but subscription-less title, that's the word I was looking for, they had to be very efficient with the data. It's weird that Farmer Hamnet is a monk and not a warrior here. I feel like a lot of random NPCs have heal signet. But anyway, that they have to be extremely efficient with their data. And a lot of that's like proprietary tech that they're not talking about. But most of the others never made it this far. You're doing pretty well, says Farmer Hamnet. But that means that they don't have some of that stuff that they would otherwise that would allow for jumping, basically. Like, it basically has to be a two-dimensional. Spent the past 2 days grinding Farmer Hamnet quest. Oh, the Vanguard stuff. Yeah, because I'm not going for LDOA on anyone. I did that once, and that was enough. Congratulations on that. It is quite the journey, even with the Vanguard quests. And that's why I want sprint, right? Wait, what's Farmer Hamnet doing all the way over there? Did I just get ahead of him or something? Probably. I'll have my fields growing again, just you wait and see. Yeah, I played a bunch of games without jumping, so not having jumping didn't bother me either, but apparently is a huge sticking point for a lot of people, given how much people have talked about it. Like, some of my first gaming was Doom and Wolfenstein 3D, and those don't have jumping. And, like, StarCraft didn't have jumping or anything like that. I don't know. It just didn't occur to me. Pokemon doesn't have jumping. What other games did I played? A lot. I played a lot of games. Yeah, well, like, the idea of... Because I had played a bunch of stuff in Warcraft 3. Because there's the custom map scene in Warcraft 3 was fantastic. I mean, your whole MOBA genre was born there. Oh, we got ourselves a conversation. Stand aside, Rurik. Before you do this, Father, think about your motives. That Crichton is a cancer on the underbelly of Ascalon. I need no further motive than that, to cut him away before he does more harm. Ambassador Zane is here to offer us aid. He extends his hand in friendship. No Crichton will ever be a friend of Ascalon. Don't be foolish, old man. If you have not noticed, Ascalon is in no position to turn away help, even from those who were once our enemies. I grow tired of this, Rurik. Step aside this instant. We're here to arrest Ambassador Zane and try him as a traitor of this nation. I will not allow you to jeopardize the fate of Ascalon because of your petty jealousy. If you intend to arrest the ambassador, then you will have to go through me. First have to go through me. Go home, Father. Let me deal with this. This is a mistake, Rurik. Mark my words. This Crichton will be the death of us all. Guards, with me. You can see King Adelburn is handling that stuff a bit more evenly. Like, there's a build-up to Nolani Academy. Just too many not seeing eye to eye. But yeah, so like there wasn't jumping in Warcraft 3. So I was interested in World of Warcraft when I heard about it, but then I learned about like the subscription fee and everything because it's like, oh, this is not another thing or whatever. Thanks for the escort. I can take it from here. Go and let Graz know that I made it here safe and sound, if you would. So yeah, I had no problems with no jumping, but yeah, so I was like, no, I don't want to pay a subscription fee for a game. What? Why would I do that? So I didn't get into WoW, and then one of my StarCraft modding buddies basically talked about the Searing without talking about the Searing. Talked about like the game doing crazy and wild stuff with like the actor stage being overturned. I've told this story several times before, but that's what got me to check out Guild Wars, and the rest, as they say, is history. Hello. Right, Raston. I have your ceremonial items. Thank you. These supplies from Daved should suffice. Rest assured, soon the spirits of the dead shall be granted the peace they deserve, such are the blessings of the unseen ones. Sure, if you say so. Mm-hmm. Yep, that makes sense too. But I've definitely enjoyed the game a great deal. It's funny, I feel like I have friends that get me into stuff way more than they end up getting into it themselves. Like, He played Guild Wars for a while, but nowhere near as much as I have, as far as I know. And I also got into Pokemon way more, like through elementary friends, but then like I got into it through the card game because I initially got some to like be able to play with them or whatever, and didn't understand how damage counters were supposed to work at all. But I ended up getting into it way more than they did. It's interesting how that sort of stuff happens. Adrenaline doesn't matter if I can't hit. Regent Valley should be off this general direction. Yeah, there's the Devourer Cave, so Regent Valley is just around over here. I found this great thing. Not exactly the same experience, but yeah. Wow. Definitely like a similar type of thing, though. Oh man. So my friends, for some reason, were super into Crystal Chronicles, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, but their coordination was so bad, and that game really wants you to be able to time stuff and coordinate. It's fun thinking about those long ago memories. And playing Sonic 3 at my friend's house. Let's talk to Sergeant Clark and get these Ascalonian guards headed back. War Master Grast orders us to report him. Lead the way. I know better than to disappoint the War Master again. I still haven't recovered from the last time. Men, prepare to move out. Fall in line behind Sophia Ash. Yeah, I love Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. Oh, they're just ahead of me. There's something... So I feel like Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 kind of were during the era when Sonic Team remembered that Sonic was a platformer first and speed was the dash of flavor. And they've kind of struggled with that ever since. Like, it's just a long-running issue for the Sonic games where, like, they try to overemphasize the speed part. Because the speed, the go fast part of Sonic was just that, like, additional little thing on top. G Pokemon. Oh. Huh. I've not heard that, but I'd have to check that out. Actually, while I mindlessly attack some Devourers, I'm going to make a note to do so. Okay, hopefully that note will remind me. Yeah. No, like doing a proper send off. And I still think back sometimes to a T-shirt I got way back in the day with Ash, Misty, Brock, and Pikachu on it. It was one of those, like, I don't know, like a white T-shirt with the splash on it. I kind of did they? I don't remember if it was something where it's like they had them there, or if it was like you could get T-shirts with designs on them. That I did not have, but I'm not sure where the merchandising was. Because I started playing Pokemon with the original, like, card set and red and blue. But I was quite fond of that shirt. I probably have some pictures of me wearing it. Probably? I'd have to dig around. Yeah, I got Pokemon Yellow on the 3DS Virtual Console, but I didn't actually have it for the Game Boy Color back in the day. The idea of more Pokemon existing when they came out with Gen 2, that was mind-blowing to me. I'm like, that's possible? There can be more? Now it's just like super mundane that there's more Pokemon constantly coming out, but like, man, what a thing for me at that time. I guess it would have been like 12-year-old me brain. But like when stuff started happening with like Donphan and Togepi and Marill and all of the stuff with Pika Blue and all of that floating around. And that was a time. I kind of miss the like way things were when it was like magazines and schoolyard rumors before the internet like took over is the big way of information distribution. Brain's already full of Guild Wars skill names. There's no more room up there for more Pokemon names. Seeing Pokemon the movie 2000 in theaters. Good times. Pretty sure I saw that one in theaters. I have the fancy Mew card from it. Yeah. The whole thing with like, oh, is this playing out again? Pushing Mew with a truck. I don't even know how the stuff with missing no spread. Like, I don't know how I learned about it anymore. Oh man. Thank you so much, Dead on Stick. I really appreciate that a lot. Good to see ya. The patrol! Well done. You're a credit to Ascalon, Sophia Ash. Clark, take your men. Head into Ascalon City and gather as many able-bodied fighters as you can. I will... No, not power attack. I don't want power attack. I want sprint. Yeah. Well, I wanted to start a bit earlier, so that way it would be a more reasonable EU time. Because I know I have a lot of people who are in Europe that like to watch me, so. You couldn't have come at a better time. Word from Captain West at the breach is that a char attack is imminent. Get yourself there as quickly as you can and help Captain West repel the char attack. Ascalon is counting on you. To the breach. I really want this one because I want penetrating blow chop, whichever one it is. I'm reminiscing about Pokemon back in the day. Mine getting blown by the idea that they can come out with more Pokemon. $150 or more to see. Man, future-proofing the poker wrap was such a good idea. 'When you go to both Pokemon regions. Yeah, that was Gen 2. So Gold, Silver, and Crystal. Let you go back to Kanto. That was amazing. So I actually heard a thing you love most about early Guild Wars missions is that Shadow Slowdown blind effects don't last long. Yeah, that's true. They don't because attributes are lower, which is really nice. But yeah, somebody actually proposed the idea of basically Pokemon taking on the Guild Wars 1 model of like, okay, here is our core Pokemon thing, and they just keep adding effectively like new campaigns to it like Guild Wars 1 does, and then have a central area for like trades and PvP, and like how amazing would that be? But the Guild Wars 1 model of like separate campaigns that are all kind of linked together where you can go from one region to another would be so good for Pokemon. I mean, I'm not the one you have to convince. It would help future-proof the franchise, yeah. So Dead on Stick, are you going to share the whole thing about the compression algorithm? Yeah, so did you know gaming, this Dr. Lava has been doing some incredibly in-depth journalism into this stuff, and apparently that story is apocryphal. There was a new compression algorithm. It was faster, but not as memory efficient, and that's not actually what made it possible to get both into the thing, apparently. And it's just like, we've misunderstood this for like a very long time. I would link you the video, but I don't remember exactly where it is. But it was one of the ones on Did You Know Gaming. Because I've heard that story too. That like Mr. Iwata made a new compression algorithm that let them save enough space that they could fit it in there or something like that. And apparently that's just like not actually accurate for what happened. Which is wild to me. Of like, how did that story become so big? I guess it was just slower. So basically what the new algorithm did is it improved load times, right? Because like one of the things that I've heard, and this matters for the speedruns in Gen 2, is that the male character is more compressed, or like the female character is not compressed or something, in Crystal specifically. Because Crystal had a female playable character. Anyway, there's some malarkey going on where the female character, I think it is slightly faster to load, so because of something to do with the compression. And so it's actually faster for some of the longer speedrun categories to take the time to select the female character because the load times are a little bit better. Something to that effect. Which is wild. When Duke Barradin and the rest of the Vanguard broke through the Char lines to Picken Square, they were unable to take much in the way of supplies. Supply columns have been heading out to Picken Square with regularity, but I have just received word from Quartermaster Ida that the latest column is at least a day overdue. The Duke must have the supplies if he is going to hold out against the Char. If you're heading to Picken Square, can you discover what has happened to the supply column? I will find them. Yeah, no, it blew my mind too. It's like, that's just the story I'd always heard, right? That Mr. Iwata made a new algorithm that allowed them to actually fit Kanto in there and so on and so forth, and apparently that's just not accurate. Yeah, I have no idea what the technical details are with regards to that. Hey, Captain West. Thank goodness you showed up. The Char are almost here. Mm-hmm. It's really funny seeing some of the like GDC talks that Nintendo gave on making Breath of the Wild, and they're like, we had to do this thing this way, and people are like, wait, what? Of course you would do it that way. Why didn't you think of that to begin with? Sort of thing, where it's like, oh, you guys are kind of insular. I forget exactly what it was. It had to do something with like algorithmically placing sound effects or some other random thing. But it's just like, of course you would do it like that way rather than manually placing everything. What? Oh man. Show me iron ingots. Leather. Hey, iron ingots. I need iron ingots. Scorched lodestones are useful, technically. Okay, Captain West is doing alright. Still hold the original Doom as a gold standard for technical innovation. Yeah. No, for sure. Id Software having a habit of publicly releasing their engines when they kind of moved on to the next one was, I think, really good for the industry at large. I have huge regard. It is absolutely wild to me, by the way, as somebody who like grew up playing id Software games, that you can just... Sometimes John Romero just streams, and you can go and hang out and chat with John Romero on a stream, and that is just mind-blowing to me. It's like, what? How is this, like, untouchable mythological figure, like, still exists as a human being that you can actually interact with? And it's just like, what? And he made a new, like, Doom expansion, Sigil, and, like, Sigil 2 and stuff. That's wild. That's the last of them. So Ophelia Ash, report back to War Master Grass and inform him that we hold the breach. Yeah, my memories are of like playing Wolfenstein 3D and Doom while sitting on my dad's lap. And he would move us, and I would be in charge of picking our weapon and shooting it and mashing spacebar against walls. Is my memory. Yeah, it's like, oh, you just bumped into Keanu Reeves and can talk with him. I mean, they are people, and it's easy to kind of forget that. But yeah, it's wild. I need to turn some of these things in, but where is I'm going to ignore this hunter because I know my way around. I don't think there's a way up over there, is there? Okay, you know what? We are going on an investigatory trip. Yeah. There's something going on over here. But yeah, like I have a picture of me as a kid excitedly holding open the Doom manuals of the bestiary in the back. Or probably was Doom 2, actually. They were great, weren't they? Good old paper manuals. Reading the little lore sections in them, and yeah, thick thing too. But I loved having like, here's the background, right? Man, no bags is weird. But like here, so here's there's Alyssa mural over there. That's cool. Harby Moth. But I love that sort of stuff. It was great. Man, I've been wanting to vanquish Ascalon, just because I feel like it's been so long since I've been over the area with a fine-tooth comb. That might be a future stream endeavor, though. Who knows when? But yeah, like opening up the Ocarina of Time manual and looking through it. I think my sister's holding on to a lot of our game manuals. I actually scanned the Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask manuals. Don't remember if I posted them anywhere, though. Well, if you want a like really thorough examination, about 3 years ago, was it 2020 that I started doing it? Probably. I did a very careful like lore focused playthrough of Guild Wars 1. I was really digging into stuff. I'm gonna take the long way around. Yeah, well, part of it too is ArenaNet was kind of like so much coming up with it as they went that okay, these henchies are not ready for these char. I'm not ready for these char, let's be real. Yeah, you have to read side quests. Pay attention to all of the things. Which is what the slow playthrough was all about. It was reading all that stuff. The VODs are all up on my YouTube channel. I think there should be a link in the About panels or whatever. I don't know, however Twitch has arranged those things these days. Got some nice sunshine out today. These level 3s are not cutting it. Yeah. No. Althea did survive the searing, but she got captured by the char. So I can focus. Kneeling near a statue. Yep. So, the place we're heading to, Pick and Square, was under like I'm not sure the exact timeline, but there's basically something that happens here where Althea gets captured by the Char and taken off north. Duke Barradin creates a breach in their line to try to go find her. And that like destabilizes some of the area here and potentially like helps precipitate some of the fall of Ascalon. I think ultimately what dooms Ascalon is Prince Rurik's basically splitting a huge portion of the Ascalonian military and like people off to go make their journey to Kryta over this way. But yeah, so Althea survives the searing, but is at some point captured by the Char prior to like during that 2-year gap between pre-searing and post-searing. And then she's like burned alive in the Flame Temple corridor or something to that effect, or she's killed there and she's burnt there. So my guess is the Char probably burnt her alive. And so like you can recover her ashes and bring them back, but you can find her ghost wandering Dysa Plateau or Dysa Lowlands. Now I'm getting confused with Guild Wars 2 map names, but I do feel like all of the stuff with the gods is something that is a little underexplored in Guild Wars 1, but yeah, there's probably some stuff semi-related to that. It would be nice to get access to those here, but whatever. I mean, the searing definitely was not good for the land, so that would make it harder for the Char too. My guess is it was probably more disastrous than they were expecting. Yeah, that's the bigger issue. They had huge losses in Kryta and Ore. Yep. My character would not be this clean walking through that gross tar. It'd be so nasty. Unfortunately, we're out of rustics for Alicia, but they probably lost some forces to fighting the Centaur. I'm not sure how much that sort of thing is discussed at all. The bigger issue is like the Cataclysm and Ore, and then the Mersat slaughtered a huge number of Char and Kryta. That doesn't surprise me. Let's not fight right there. Knowing the Centaur, they probably ate the Char. Man, Nightfall is so bleak when you actually are looking at everything. Like, the Cornins are force conscripting their citizens that are then like getting slaughtered, and the Centaur are talking about eating well on dead. Eating well on boy, my brain is not functioning here. Eating well on dead Cornin soldiers. So it's like, oh, Yeah, you know, those forced conscripts into the Cornan military that we slaughter, that then the Centaur are like, yum, yum. It's not great, is what I'm saying. This was the weirdest thing, is having like an empty bank. Highly salvageable bow. It definitely does some interesting things. To me, the Searing is just such a potent bit of storytelling that. Do I buy one of these now? No, I definitely do not. But the Searing is just such a potent piece of storytelling that it's always just going to have a special place for me. Yeah, definitely did that. I'm going to hang on to some of these collectible items in case I find use for them. Ooh, that one almost doubled its value. And this key. Very nice. Okay. 5 iron ingots. Right. Well, it's like, it's not only that, but they're like, oh, we need a better tutorial, and people were liking the PvE more than they were expecting. Is also a component, as I understand it. Okay, I do need to go do that. Let's go do this first, though. But yeah, it's wild that it was so quick. They did such a good job with pre-searing, too. People often forget about the children of those slain by the searing. I try to look after them, but there's only so much one woman can do. If we don't find someone to help us soon, I'm afraid of what will happen. Thank you. Go and tell our mutual friend that these supplies will be put to good use. Think Duena there are people like him around to help those in need. I honestly don't understand why certain people are so suspicious of people like our friend. Yeah, I agree. It's something that I really like about Pokemon as well, because Pokemon also has that same sort of thing where enemies are just the player character, like, or the same sort of things as the player character. And I like that about both Guild Wars and Pokemon. And it's something that I like as I reflect on it. That's something that I like from games in general is the more the enemies are like the player, the more engaging I tend to find them. It's interesting that this dialogue is repeating. Maybe I missed part of it. I don't know. I'm not going to read it again or anything. Grass, I hear you have some new stuff for me. You gave those Char a good taste of Ascalon steel, eh? That is good news indeed. Captain West shall continue to guard the area, but without your help, all would have been lost. I'm honored to serve beside you, Sophia Ash. Penetrating blow unlocked. I think... Okay, so now I have a decision to make. Do I want to just drop Symbol of Wrath entirely? Probably. This is probably just better. Endure Pain, that I don't need. I think it's the best way to build PvE content, that they use the same skills, because when you get to PvP, you know what the other player's skills do rather than relearning a complete new set of stuff. Yeah, I think it works best. Like, I mean, for a long time, it was for that basic sort of reason that they resisted doing skill split between PvE and PvP, and they eventually did that just because the two modes have very different balance concerns. So I understand why they would split like that, but it it does make it then harder to kind of cross the gap between the two, as it were. Yeah. Like, there's some benefits to... It depends upon how your systems are set up, though. I think I generally prefer just keeping everything like, okay, here is an acting agent, and then it's just who's controlling it that changes between an AI versus a player. That's my preferred method. Simplifies a lot of stuff. Well done, my friend. You have done a great and merciful deed this day. I hope that this is the first step toward our two nations becoming allies. Hey, everyone. I have mending now. I'm not going to use it. +1 health regen is just not that impressive. But I have it. And 4 great justice now. This is a good skill. I don't think I'm going to equip it now, though, either. But it's great to have access to. Man, seeing the skill unlocked pop up, that's quite the thing. Okay. Yes, I need to go talk to Grasden. I'm going to go from Sarlacc Sanitarium. Right, and how much did that do for you? If you have no skills unlocked, an Elite Warrior Tome doesn't do anything. Hey, Gwen's broken flute. Now keep in mind, Gwen had 2 flutes. She had the broken one that you retrieve for her from the riverbank, and then you can give her a new one. So she actually has 2 flutes, and this is the broken one from the riverbank. Easy to forget. Yeah, tomes are great if you've gotten everything unlocked. Oh yeah, Warrior's Endurance. Yep. That's great. Reading chat and not using my skills like a person who's not paying attention. I'm going to rearrange things slightly. Yeah, the EOTN one would definitely not be worth. I enjoy the process of unlocking stuff, though. I liked getting UAX on my main account back in the day. Thank you for helping Farmer Hamnet. He keeps insisting that someday he'll be able to make this land fertile. It would be a miracle if he could make it happen, but then we must all have something to believe in to keep us going these days. Thank you for a heal party. I really can't afford to use it on this character, but thank you nonetheless. Oh, hey, Bonetti. I think this guy used to have 100 blades. Like, you could cap 100 blades off of Bonetti, like, at some point in time in the distant past. But that's just what I've heard. I've never actually experienced it. He has a skill named after him, though. Yeah. I turned those into templates. Oh, man. Good old barrage. Yeah, it's not so great for degen pressure, though. You are correct. Okay, I think what I want to do now is just do Great Northern Wall. I mean, barrage is a solid skill. It's just not great for spreading conditions, that's all. Oh, man. Palm Strike is great. Actually, you know what? I think I have enough. Oh, hey, War Master Titus has another quest for me. Defend the wall. Oh, yes. There you are. I was asked to pass you a message from Prince Rurik. There's trouble at the Great Northern Wall, and they'd like your help. Squire Zachary is waiting for you at the wall. One thing before you go, Ophelia Ash. Since Althea's disappearance, the prince has grown increasingly reckless. Be careful, old friend. Ascalon needs you in one piece. Yep, that makes sense. I think keep in mind, I think Althea is a catalyst for a lot of prophecies, because her disappearance leads Duke Barradin to breach their line and end up in Picken Square. And it also has had a profound impact on Prince Rurik, who I think is like heartbroken, desperate, and reckless as a result of it. So yeah, since her disappearance, the prince has grown increasingly reckless. This is so easy to overlook, and I think it's so key to a lot of character motivation things. So it's a recent thing. I mean, she's Helen, right? Of Troy. In a way, where it's not like it's not her fault, but what happens to her precipitates a lot of things. And it's just it has a huge effect on the mental state of her father and her fiance. Maybe, I don't know if they've gotten married at this point or not. But if you think about it, like Rurik's love and Barradin's daughter, they're both high-ranking military officers functionally, and they're acting recklessly as a result of her disappearing. It's going to have a huge impact on how things go with the nation. And I think Rurik basically learning that Althea's dead is something that would destabilize his mental state and potentially sever his feeling of ties to Ascalon in the way that he previously would have, or and it potentially could have thrown a rift between him and his father as well, if he was like, we need to go find Althea, and Adelbern's like, we need to think about the good of the nation, not just your love life, sort of thing. So I don't know, I can definitely see there being a lot, like a catalyzing, Althea's disappearance is a catalyzing event for a lot of the actions that happen. And I think that's